If you're creating Director Shockwave content for playback in a browser, you'll want to often preview your Director movies in a browser on your local computer to view how well your JPEG compressed bitmaps are looking and to check the movie design, scripts, and any other performance issues related to playing back the movie in a browser. I've previewed a Director movie here in my Firefox browser. And what you'll want to do is make sure that all the features and components are working. The audio is playing back. The menus are all working. Now when you preview a movie in this way, Director creates a temporary shockwave or DCR file that opens in a browser. This temporary file gets deleted after you quit Director. Now to preview a movie in a browser, let's go back to Director here. Let's close Firefox and go back to Director. To preview a movie in a browser, you'll want to first select the browser, the default browser that will open when you choose the File, Preview in Browser option. Now to do this, you'll need to set up the Edit Preferences in Windows. It's in Edit Preferences. On the Macintosh operating system, which I have open here, it's going to be found under the Director option, Preferences, and then you'll want to choose Network on both Windows and the Mac. And here you have my Firefox application, but I can browse to my Safari or Internet Explorer browsers if I wish. I can also choose to launch when needed, set my disk cache size, check documents, and set my proxies. But the most important setting here for network preferences is certainly your browser that will open when you do choose the File, Preview in Browser option. Notice that it's not specifying there which browser will open. But in this case, it's going to open up Firefox. And then it's going to go to the very first frame of my Director score here. Notice that it has a little Shockwave preloader there as it's downloading. Now, using the Preview in Browser command, as I mentioned previously, only creates a temporary DCR file and a temporary HTML file. If you want to create permanent DCR and HTML files, you want to use the Publish command rather than the Preview in Browser command. Also, you want to make sure that the Preview after Publishing option is selected in the Publish Settings Format tab. That's found right here, remember. File, Publish Settings, and then make sure that that option right there, Preview after Publishing, is checked. That will create a permanent HTML file as well as a DCR file right there. These permanent files, as opposed to temporary ones created simply by using the Preview in Browser command, can then be placed on a web server for viewing with a browser through HTTP. You might notice that linked media files do not work as expected when you preview a movie in a browser. Because of security restrictions, movies playing in browsers might not be able to read files from a local disk unless they are in the DSW media folder, also called the support folder, which is a subfolder of the folder containing the player. So, to preview a movie that uses linked media, you might need to put the movie and all of its linked media in this DSW media folder. If the relative files haven't changed, the movie can open any file in a subfolder of DSW media. If you later move the movie and its media to another server, the linked media will continue to work as long as you preserve the same folder structure on the second server that you did on the first. Let me now move on to the next movie and talk a bit more about how to create Shockwave content, including the Shockwave player browser compatibility and other tips for creating Director content that will play back in a browser.